There you are. Good morning. Good morning. I hope you're safe and well, because that is the most important thing. So the weather this morning is a bit grey, a bit dull. Would you believe we've actually had sunshine and hail simultaneously this week? Spring. Okay, so what have we got for you today? Right. First off, it's a UK thing. Now, you may have seen in the newsletter, don't think I've mentioned it on these videos, that there has been a lot of lobbying by the Chemical Industries Association about energy costs for the chemical industry. And also a lot of other trade bodies have presumably been lobbying the government as well. Well, this has actually paid off up to a point, Lord Copper. Sorry, that's a quote from Scoop by Evelyn Watt. Fantastic book. I do recommend it. Yes, it's absolutely hilarious. Right. Okay. So what they're saying is that I think 10,000 manufacturing companies will have their electricity bills reduced by 25%. Okay. And it starts in 2027. Well, excuse me, how are businesses that are already struggling supposed to survive to the point where they get that? And who's going to choose those? How is it going to be done? Why is it not an above the board cut in tax, for example? But I will put the link to the CIA's announcement. But it's very much a jam tomorrow thing, isn't it? And in fact, I do a little thought experiment in the newsletter today. How would we tackle the high cost of energy if carbon dioxide was not presumed to be a pollutant / greenhouse gas? And if you do that, then everything kind of crystallizes. So if you would like to hear my little rant about that, then please do feel free to sign up to Chemicals Coffee Time weekly emails, and I will pop the link here. Because there's such a lot in there that we can't talk about on these calls. But yes, so that's the first thing, goodish news on energy. The second thing is, it's not a rumor, it's a tip-off. Now, I'm sure you're aware that we rely heavily at Chemicals Coffee Time on people tipping us off about things. And one of the things that has come through is from Ali Potts at WSP, is she's keeping an eye on the progress at EuroParl of the simplification proposals and how they affect the CLP regulation. And the thing we're all really bothered about is label formatting. And the story so far, as I'm sure you're aware, is the European Parliament put in label format proposals which are very restrictive and will mean people's labels need to be completely redone at vast expense. Was it 2 years ago now? And they did it in the committee process called trialogue, so there was no public consultation. That came out last year. European Parliament were lobbied into the middle of next week, basically, and turned around and said, no, you can't do that. We're simplifying things, not making things worse. And they put a proposal forward saying it should just say clear and legible, and not all the business we're worried about, which is minimum font sizes, minimum spacing between font lines, the CLP label has to be a white background with black text, etc., etc. And they said, no, just make it, legible. So that went into the simplification proposals. And there was also an extension to the end of 2027 for bringing the label formatting things in. And the simplification proposals themselves are going through the European Parliament. And guess what? According to Ali, they have brought back in the dreaded format changes for labels, but only for consumer labels. Great. So the one thing where people want a pretty label, where everything's consistent along the label, is going to be forced to put the white on with the black text. And also the one area where you're likely to have small packages and you need to have space on the label to put all the information in that you're legally obliged to, yeah, that's going to be forced to have an increase in text size and an increase in the thing. So basically, it looks like European Parliament are turning around to the Commission and saying, well, we disagree. We like these ideas, even though industry says they're rubbish and unworkable, and we're still going to put them in. So there. So the whole thing is a complete mess. Ali has provided a link to the procedural file, which is saying it's basically just right. Let me just pop this in here for you. Bear with. So you can keep track of things. Apparently, if you're a real nerd, you can find the documents and go and find out what's happening. I've had a go this morning. I can't even find them. That's how well hidden they are. But we do have another link in the newsletter if you want to go down that particular rabbit hole. The interesting thing is that because Ali's tracking it in real time, we're getting this information out. Whereas what some of the legislative tracking things do is they're tracking things once they've been published, and this is pre-publication. But this is such an important issue. I wanted to flag it up and to say to anybody who's in the trade bodies or lobbying people about the label formatting issues, it is a vampire. It has suddenly resurrected for consumer products as a proposal. And please, please lobby EuroParliament to try and get that removed, because it is unworkable, expensive, doesn't make things any safer, and just sends industry off on a wild goose chase, almost having to change what are otherwise perfectly decent labels. Right, I will get off my soapbox, but thank you for listening. So what else have we got for you today? We've got not the 9 o'clock news, and this is Football Manager. So I'm just going to pop the thing there. So that's a nice thing to cheer us all up after we contemplate the depressing thought that the regulators and the politicians don't really understand our industry. But hey, we always knew that anyway, didn't we? So thanks ever so much for watching today, whether that's live or on catch up. Really appreciate it. And have a great weekend. Take care of yourselves. And I look forward to chatting to you again next week, if we're spared. Bye.